Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor. I'm trying to see what's gone wrong with my YouTube live session. Give me a moment, guys. The layout seems to have changed a little bit, so I'm just trying to understand what is possibly wrong with that. Give me just a moment. Okay. It keeps saying waiting for live video, but I think I'm already live on Instagram and on YouTube on our AJV Global page as well as my YouTube channel. So give me just a minute, guys. The layout seems to have changed. Okay, yeah, it says now. Okay. Something's wrong with YouTube today. No, sorry, with Facebook Live. Mhm. Oh. Right. Now, this is the first time I'm experiencing this particular problem. So let me see if I can just go back to the main Facebook page. Okay, go live. Okay, I've posted that. Hopefully, I should be live now. Hey, kia ora, and welcome once again, all you wonderful people. Thank you for all those waiting on Instagram and YouTube for me to start my Facebook feed as well. When I went into my Facebook live session, it showed a very different kind of screen, which was very different from what I'm normally used to. So it took me a while to get live onto Facebook today. But hey guys, welcome back. It is Monday, and this is your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor as well as education advisor Arun Jacob, coming live once again from a very, very quiet city called Hamilton, New Zealand. We guys are kind of coming to the end of our first week of complete lockdown here in the country. And so it has been a very interesting week for us because we are all sort of, getting back into some sort of routine while all are staying home. And by and large, I think the country is coping quite well. I keep following. I have a nice big TV on the wall right behind me there, and I keep watching the news quite regularly, even while I sit and continue to work. And yeah, it was been a bit of a quiet week for us because we were all in this lockdown that has been imposed by the government of New Zealand to combat the COVID, 19 disease that is kind of running rampant across the world right now. And yeah, so here we are, first week of self isolation, first week of staying at home. Lockdown has happened, and I have been absolutely been gorging on movies on Netflix and YouTube and what have you. And I absolutely love war movies, by the way. So I've been watching quite a lot of war movies and getting my little boy thrills of watching men with machine guns and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what it is. And because I've been watching a lot of war movies, I'm going to use a term from some of these movies. They when they're out in the field, the army people talk to each other and say, "So what's the SITREP?" Which stands for what is the situation report. So I'm going to give you a SITREP from New Zealand, and the SITREP as of the latest count is that New Zealand now has got 552 confirmed cases of COVID-19, out of which 63 have recovered. And unfortunately, we've had one death, and this death was of an elderly lady on the west coast in the South Island in a town called Greymouth. So it's very unfortunate. Condolences to the family, of course. But that has been our only fatality in New Zealand at this stage, and as against a worldwide count of 723,700 confirmed cases and 34,000 deaths across the world. New Zealand has got 552 confirmed cases, 63 of them are recovered, and one person, an elderly lady, has passed away from this unfortunate disease that is taking hold of the world, really. But I think I've also been listening to a lot of commentators and commentaries from different experts from across the world, and I was watching news in the evening. They brought on an expert from London, and he was talking about the fact that New Zealand has been one of the countries that has been very proactive in trying to curb this particular menace to society. And he was quite appreciative of the way that the New Zealand government has taken some strict measures, and I think, will be one of those countries which will come out very quickly out of this unfortunate situation. We are at something called an alert level 4 at the moment, but I think the government has got the ability to define different regions in the country according to different alert levels, and I do believe that. The government is monitoring the situation very carefully. Extreme measures have been put in place, but quite frankly, it is sort of life as normal. I've been home with my family and my wife and my kids, and it's all just been like normal, frankly, guys. I look outside the window and there are people running and jogging. Of course, everybody is maintaining their 2 meters distance from each other, but people are getting out. I had a bit nice big workout in the evening, and I actually had a very hot shower, which is the reason I was a bit sweaty when I started my session as well. But yeah, I mean, life is just normal, and everybody seems to be coping with it as well as they can. And the other interesting thing is, I've been getting a lot of emails from all the different institutions of New Zealand, the universities, the ITPs, the private providers. And it is lovely to see that they're all buoyant and optimistic about what's going to happen, because today I got a couple of emails from different universities which said that the orientation dates for July will be this, and then this is the way they're kind of planning to move ahead in the year. So I strongly believe that New Zealand will be one of the first countries in the world to fight this, combat this, and open our borders again. It's very uplifting to see that China is already coming to some kind of a normalcy, even in the epicenter like Wuhan. So China is sort of limped back to some kind of normalcy. Korea has limped back to some kind of normalcy. So I think the overall the strong, tough, rigid measures are what is required to stamp out this particular virus. But if we have anything to learn from these other countries which have sort of moved back to some amount of normalcy, I think New Zealand will also bounce back very quickly, because not only that, but we have a very well-oiled government machine here in New Zealand. We are well funded. We have enough money in the bank. Our bureaucracy is very strong. Our leadership is very strong. Even the opposition leader came and said that they are supporting what the prime minister and her cabinet are doing. So overall, I strongly, it is my strong belief, not just as a person who promotes New Zealand as a destination, but also as a person who lives in this country and as a citizen of this country. And I'm experiencing everyday life, which is why I'm giving you a sit rep from New Zealand. I think we will come out of this very, very quickly. So, what does this mean to all you wonderful people out there who are planning to, who have been planning to move to New Zealand and come here for your education or for your migration? Do not drop your plans. Go on with it like just how it has been going. As I keep saying, you don't have to pay AJV anything at this stage. You don't have to pay Immigration New Zealand anything, any money. You don't have to pay the institutions any money to get your admission letter. So think of it as something that is just normal. Get on with your, continue to talk to your AGV advisor, and we will get your admission letters. And you continue to, collect the rest of your documents. And I'm very positive that sooner than later we will see you all here in New Zealand. A shout out to also my own AJV students who are already here in New Zealand, both past, present, and present. Please do not worry, guys. As you would have, probably seen outside your own homes and wherever you're staying, it's pretty normal. People are just getting on and being careful and not doing stupid things and maintaining their distance. So my simple message: I think New Zealand will be one of the first countries who will bounce out of this very quickly because we've put in some good measures into this, which means our borders are bound to open faster, which means your dreams of being in New Zealand will still be on track. In fact, the prime minister went on to make a statement saying that as the leader of the government, she understands that a large part of our economy runs and is dependent on our borders being open because tourism is such a big sector for us. So is international education. So I'm sure they will work quickly and decisively towards controlling this epidemic and pandemic within New Zealand and open the borders. All right. So yeah, just talking to you guys. Keep your plans ticking along. Don't drop your plans just because this thing came and hit all of us. I am very certain if we take the example of China and South Korea, that it will be business as usual very soon in New Zealand as well. All right, cool. So I can see that a lot of my my wonderful team members have already yeah, all joined in, and today I mean I'm not able to show you my license because I can't see where my wallet is. Like I said, it's just life is normal, and we went out yesterday to get some groceries, and I'm sure my wallet is still in the car. So yeah, but you guys know that I'm a licensed immigration advisor. If you go to the IAA website, which is Immigration Advisors Authority of New Zealand, which is a government site. If you go and search for Arun Jacob, yours truly space will come up there. All right, cool. So we have been we've been myself and my colleagues, Mary and Tulika and Navya. Uh, we have all been talking about different institutions every week when we start our live session. And today I'm going to briefly touch upon Unitec. Now, Unitec is an Institute of Technology and Polytechnic, which is in short called an ITP. Unitec is located and situated in the city of Auckland. It is, in fact, I live quite close to Unitec when I used to live in Auckland back in the day, and yeah, it's a fantastic institution. It's got a massive campus in the heart of Auckland City, and it's probably one of the largest campuses right in the middle of a bustling city like Auckland. It's been around for many, many years. I will not get into the details of the history and how this started, but I think the important points for you to know about Unitec is that Unitec is a government owned and operated Institute of Technology and Polytechnic, which means your studies there or your future in New Zealand is underwritten by the government of New Zealand, which means it is a good, strong, stable organization, and you will not have any problems about Unitec suddenly shutting its doors and you guys suddenly wondering whether you lose your fees in stuff like that. I don't think that's going to happen because it's underwritten by the government of New Zealand. And the government of New Zealand has got adequate funds to ensure that Unitech stays afloat and continues to, progress properly. Recently, I think about a year and a half back, there were some adverse press reports about Unitech, and there were some concerns that it was not being managed well, and that there were some internal issues which were being kind of sorted out, because of which NZQA, which is the New Zealand Qualifications Authority, dropped their rating down. And at that point in time, we actually got quite a lot of inquiries from quite a few of our students saying, "Hey, look, is it all right for me to still go to Unitech?" Because we've seen that NZQA has dropped their rating from category one to category. I think it went down to category two or three. I don't quite remember, but they did drop it. They did drop the category, and I must tell you guys, because that this is not just with Unitech, but there was some issues with other institutes of technology and polytechnics as well, which is where the government stepped in and said, "Hey, look, we have to address this situation." I got on the phone and I also spoke to somebody at Unitech, quite senior, and I asked, "Hey, look, we're getting this queries from our students about whether they should still consider coming to Unitech or not." And they said, most of the things that are that have been causing a problem for them had to do with their internal structures and their management, and more to do with some of the ways they were delivering to the domestic students, and that it really had no bearing on any of the international students. So that's the feedback that I got. But just as a guy who advises all of you about moving to New Zealand and talking about different institutions, we represent New Zealand, AJV, very and Unitech very proudly, because we have 100% confidence that Unitech will deliver and will continue to deliver, and whatever issues they've had, they will sort it out internally. So I don't think we should be worried. As an individual international student who is coming to New Zealand, all you got to know is that it is owned and operated by the government of New Zealand, and they will not let you down. Simple as that. And there are some strong, legislation and rules and regulations that will protect your interests as an international student. So that's the thing about Unitech. So you can get into it with confidence. Beautifully located in Auckland, lots of housing around Unitech, and also if you're in Auckland, which it means that your chances of getting a part-time job while you're studying would be very high. And it's got a beautiful campus, and they have pretty much all kinds of courses that they offer. So if I can just reel off some of the things that they have accounting and finance, they have acting, animal health and welfare, architecture and architectural technology, art and design, automotive engineering, bridging education, building and carpentry, civil engineering, computer and information technology, conservation and biodiversity management, construction management, contemporary dance, digital marketing, early childhood education, electrical and electronics engineering, and English language studies. So you can see that they and I'm not getting into the details of all the other courses that they run, but they also have other things like graphic design and animation, interior design, land surveying. They have landscape and garden design, landscape architecture, management, of course, mechanical engineering, medical imaging, which is a very, very good subject also to consider. And then they also have nursing, they have osteopathy, they have photography and media arts, they have product and furniture design, property development, quantity surveying, real estate, screen arts, social work and community development, sport, exercise and recreation, and they also have veterinary nursing as well as visual arts. So as you can see, they have a complete range of courses to offer. And from my personal experience, I have been working with Unitech all the way back from 2004. So this is not a new association that my team and I have with Unitech. We have been working with Unitech since many, many years now. So that's almost two whole decades if you look at it, just short of it by a little bit. And some of my students who've been to Unitech are still in touch with me. These are people who came to Unitech way back in 2005, 6, those years, and they're all done very well. They graduated from Unitech. They got into good jobs. They got their further visas, and most of them are now citizens and very well established professionals here in New Zealand. So, absolutely, I recommend Unitec with a lot of confidence. And for you guys and girls, don't get put off by some of the adverse press reports that you might read about Unitec. Also, bear in mind the government of New Zealand is bringing all institutes of technology under one big, large umbrella very soon. That's also happening at the moment, so which means there will be nice centralized structure. And bottom line, this is an institution that is owned and operated by the government of New Zealand, and the government of New Zealand will not let you or any other student down, whether they're domestic students or international students. So you can take it from me, as a guy who lives and works in New Zealand and pays my taxes and enjoys the benefits of being a taxpayer, this government won't let you down. All right. So take care of that. Okay, cool. All right. So as always, time to take a sip of water and check who has joined in on this particular chat. I can see a lot of my team has come on board. Talking about my wonderful team, they have started a nice new session of training today. And our belief is that in peacetime, armies don't stop training. And that's exactly the philosophy that we carry in AJV. For us to be able to take care of all you, young and not so young clients who are desirous of coming to New Zealand, it is very important for each and every member of AJV to be well trained and have the right attitude, skills, and knowledge. So, a couple of my colleagues have been putting in a fantastic effort to create a nice online delivery of training. So, right now, even as we speak, although because of this whole COVID-19, a little bit of our normal inquiry rate has dropped down, but we said we're going to use this time and train ourselves and become much better so that we can serve all of you in a much better fashion. All right, cool. Let's go on. All right. Yuvraj Mida says, Yuvraj here. How are you, Arun? Just to say you hello, all the best for the work you do. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Yuvraj. Yuvraj is one of our clients, and it's lovely to see from him that he acknowledges our work. Thanks, Yuvraj. Like I keep saying, this thing will blow over. COVID-19 is not going to stay with humanity for the rest of our lives. So we all need to look ahead. Yeah, right now it feels like, oh yeah, we're all stuck in this little, quagmire, but we will get out of it. And once we get out of it, it will be business as usual. And I'm supremely confident that New Zealand will be one of the first countries to open its borders. So don't drop your plans and continue to work with us. Thank you, Yuvraj, for checking in. All right. Agya Datta says, hi, sir. I'm an AJVian. Hey, Agya. Lovely to say hello to my AJVians as always. So, would it be a good time to land in New Zealand this year in October? My actual intake time, or should I defer till it to 2021 February? Argya, as I was telling you, act and behave and continue to work like it is going to be normal in the next 2 or 3 months' time. That is what my expectation is, looking at listening to all the experts. And I've been doing a lot of research, and I've been listening to a lot of experts from different parts of the world who are sort of relaying their own opinions and thoughts about this thing. I strongly believe if you're looking at October, you should be able to come into New Zealand. By that time, I'm certain that we would have controlled this epidemic in New Zealand. And like I told you, it is absolutely critical and crucial for us as a country to open the borders as quickly as we can. Of course, without jeopardizing the health of all the people who live here. And I'm sure the government is working overtime to see how we can, because otherwise it's going to have a massive impact on our economy. Our GDP will take a massive hit because keeping our borders open as an island nation is very important for us. We rely very heavily on tourism. We rely very heavily on international education. So for all these things to happen, our borders need to be open. So I'm quite certain, Arya, that the government will push for opening the borders soon as they can, as soon as it is safe enough to do that. But otherwise, also, I think the government will come out with some good policies where a part of the course might start, on time, and the initial delivery of the first couple of months might happen online, and then you might be allowed to come into the country. And if I were the immigration manager, what I would do is I would extend that visa from the day you start your, enter into New Zealand. So even if you come into New Zealand, let's say, if even if you come into New Zealand 3 months after the course has started, and those first 3 months were, given out in an online fashion, I would say, okay, I'll still give you a 1 year student visa with the same rights, and then give you your 3 years post study visa as well. All right. So I would say continue to act like it is just normal, and I'm sure it will all work out in our favor, Arya. Okay. So we need you here in New Zealand as much as you want to be here, and I'm sure the government will make it happen. All right. Give me a moment, guys. I picked up a bad cold over the weekend, so I'm not in the. Don't worry, guys, not COVID, just a common cold. Niroj Amar Singh, hi Arun, how are you? I have a question. How may I channel a doctor? What is the process here? People say we have to register with a GP, etc. I'm confused, so can you explain me that? I have a student insurance. University said my policy number is my student number, but I don't know what and how to do. Yes, I have added that with my student administration team. In this situation, I'm worried if I find myself in a case of emergency. Uh, Says I don't know nothing what to do to claim or any other or anything else. So can you please guide us through the process? Hey, Nirosh, in an emergency, you don't have to do anything. If it's a real medical emergency, you need to call 111, which is our emergency number. And because you already have student insurance, so any emergencies will be taken care of. If you call 111, an ambulance will come, and it will take you to hospital, and you will be treated. And because you have insurance, all that will be covered. If it is not an emergency, then what you got to do is, I don't know which particular area you're living in, but get onto the get onto Google and search for a GP, or a clinic. GP is a general practitioner, and search for it and say, hey, look, and give them a call because most clinics are still open, and tell them, saying, hey, look, I've just come to New Zealand, and I'm an international student, and because of this quarantine and this self-isolation that we are all practicing, that you're not able to meet them in person, but let them know that you would like to register with that particular practice, and they will take your details, and you can scan your documents and email it to them, and they will issue you with a card. Oh, I can't show it to you because I'm using my phone for Instagram. But I actually I've scanned my card, which is given to me by my local clinic. So they give you a patient number, and you give them a copy of your insurance. Because right now we can't step out of home, or what you got to do is just use your phone, take a picture, scan it, and send it to them. So for non-emergencies, register with your nearest GP. For an emergency, please call 111, and they will come and take care of you. And because you already have insurance, everything will get covered. All right. Okay, Nirosh. If you still have further doubts, you know what to do. You're an AJV student, so you just got to pick up your phone and call 0800 696977, which is the toll-free number that we set up for all our students and our clients, and give a call. And during office hours, we are still functioning. We are 100% operational. Each and every person working in our team is absolutely working 100% at this point in time, me included. So yeah, just call 0800 696977 and ask to speak to Anjana, who is our onshore client coordinator and student coordinator. She is also an international student herself, and she has gone through this entire process, and she will talk you through the whole thing. But I think I've already given you the basics. All right, Nirosh. Hope you are doing well. Stay safe. Stay safe, my friend, and keep the spirits up. And if you're, needing any other advice, just call our toll-free number. Okay, cool. Jatin Kumar says, Jatin's shared his number, which is great, and that's the other rule of this live chat, guys and girls. Is if you are an AJV student, please identify, and I would love to answer you. If you are not an AJV student or client, please share your number so that we have the opportunity of connecting with you later and giving you more detailed information than what I can do in this live session. All right, cool. Jatin says, my wife is pregnant and we are planning to go abroad on student visa. Can we both go together in this situation? I am primary applicant and recently got my offer letter from Unitec College. Okay, Jatin, I don't see any reason. I mean, if you already got an offer, I'm not sure if you got it through AGV. I Let me quickly check with my team because they keep giving me some background information as I keep talking, and sometimes I just I just keep talking so much that sometimes I forget that I have to check back to see what's happening with my team. Okay, so nothing here about you, Jatin. So I'm not sure whether you're one of our clients. It appears you're not. But to answer your query, and if you've already got an offer, you would have either done it by yourself or you would have gone to some other company. Ideally, talk to your company, whichever got the offer, because they should be able to provide you with all this information. But as a licensed immigration advisor and also an education advisor, I don't see any reason why your wife can't travel with you unless she's at a whenever you're, of course, right now the borders being closed, you can't travel anyway. So if you are at that point where you will have to get onto a plane and come over if the borders are open, and if your wife is not at an advanced stage of pregnancy, then they will still let her onto the plane. And it's just that I think there might be some issues with your insurance, because by and large insurances don't allow for pregnancy related costs to be covered, and because you're not a resident of New Zealand, they will also not cover you for it. So my sincere advice would be, you haven't mentioned when you're going to be here or when you plan to be here, and we need to know at what stage of the pregnancy your wife is, and then we will be able to compute and check to see whether you will be able to come with her before prior to the delivery. And if that's the case, then is it possible for you to get some kind of an insurance that cover it? But or we'll advise you saying, hey, look, why don't you just have the delivery back in India, and then once the baby is a few months old, you could already be here and set up a home and be ready to receive your wife and child, and then they can come and join you. But what we will do is one of my team members will give you a call, because this is a quite a complex situation and you require some very good advice at this stage, Jatin. And that's something we are very good at it. I don't want to sound immodest, but we are a very good team of people and we know what we are talking about. It's not just people sitting and doing live sessions, but I do it based on the fact that I'm a licensed immigration advisor. So also my colleagues Mary and Tulika and Navya, and I think soon one of our other colleagues called Shireen, who's based in Malaysia, who's also a licensed advisor, would also start coming online and giving you guys and girls some information. So I'd say, Jatin, have a chat with us. One of our teams will contact you soon. When they do, please ensure that you have a good detailed conversation, because your situation will require some good and concrete advice. All right. Thanks, Jatin. Okay, Anant, my dear friend, Anant is one of our fantastic AJVians, and this guy, you gotta see him. He is like built like a bull. He's like, he's probably got one of the best physiques from all AJV students ever. Hey, Anant, I hope you're doing well and still getting on with your workouts even while you're locked up at home. Please don't drop your workout sessions. After a long time today, I managed to get off and do some workout myself. So anyhow, so Anant shared some interesting information. He says Unitec has started a level 6 cyber security course, and they have tied up with the company where Anant is working, which is Datacom. And it's apparently it is an internship plus study option. And students get trained with us and also study at the college, which sounds like a fantastic option. Anant, in fact, came to New Zealand as well to study a course in networking, and he has now gone on to procure a job and doing very well for himself. And thank you, Anant, for that wonderful feedback. And every once in a while, when we get people who are talking about technical stuff, and it goes over my head because I'm not a technical guy, we ask Anant to step in. So thanks for that advice, Anant. So another good reason to consider Unitec people because Unitec has come out with this really good course, and cybersecurity is the buzzword, especially now that so many people around the world are going to be working from home. I think cybersecurity is going to become such a buzzword. So, great time to consider doing a course in cybersecurity from Unitec, or we can provide you with a lot of other options in New Zealand as well. Radio Johnson says, "Hey, hi sir. I'm looking for opportunity to work in New Zealand. I'm a sound technician." Johnson, thanks for sharing your number. Yep, you have shared your number. So Johnson, the way it works, and if you go to my YouTube channel, you go to YouTube and search for Arun Jacob, and there is a channel that comes up, or you can just go and search for AJB Global, which is our official company's channel, and there is one of my most popular videos is called "How Can I Find a Job in New Zealand and Settle Down There?" And I go on to explain why it is not easy for you to find a job in New Zealand when you're not present in the country. So because a lot of employers, are not really willing to take the trouble, the time, money, and effort to try and find somebody who is outside the country. When there are already a lot of talented people here in the country already. So that's the reason it becomes a bit difficult. But sound technicians is a very nice and good niche area. It's a good technical area. So if you are present in the country, I do believe that you will actually have very good opportunities. But for that, you need to be in the country, Johnson. So what my team will do is we will get in touch with you and talk to you about all the different pathways that are possible for you to get into New Zealand first on a valid work visa, and then cracking a job becomes quite easy for you. All right, cool. Right. So there is uh, okay. I'm going to quickly take a moment and check with my team to see if they have given me any feedback about anybody. Okay. So there is feedback about Aruk Sheikh, who's written, "Hi Arun, I'm following you from almost a month. And one thing that I want to say here is you are really explaining everything in detail, and I feel AGB is really providing all relevant info uh, our relevant info to is bank. Thank you for helping us in all possible way and sharing the information on every alternate day. Okay, hey, look, thanks, Arok. Really appreciate that feedback. Yeah, I mean, I keep saying this over and over again. Going abroad, whether you're young or not so young, and trying to relocate by yourself or with your family or your girlfriend or your wife and kids, or or a partner if you're in the same-sex relationship, it's not an easy task. I did it in my life, and I still remember how challenging it was, and I think the most important thing that people require when they're planning to relocate themselves and start a new life in a foreign country is good, honest advice and clear advice and clean advice. And that is what we are trying to do, Aruk. And thank you so much for your feedback. I appreciate the fact that you've been following our work. You're right. Every other day, alternate day, one of us comes online and talks about it, either myself or Mary or Tulika or Navya, and I'm sure Sharon is going to start soon. So our intention is that we need to be able to provide talk to you guys and girls on a regular everyday basis, just like how we watch the news every day at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever time. You should be able to watch our channel as well and say, okay, if there is something I need to know about New Zealand, these are the people I need to go to. So that's our intention, and I'm glad it is getting noticed. And my colleague Mubaraka tells me, Aruk, that you're planning to foray into New Zealand sometime in the month of September. Warm welcome. I'm sure this whole thing will blow away by the time, and I'm sure we will meet here, Aru. Thank you in the meantime for your wonderful feedback, and please share our live sessions with your family and friends as well. Okay, and before I forget, guys, for all those of you who would like to get in touch with us, that's how you can get in touch with us. So those are our contact details. We have toll-free numbers in India and toll-free number in New Zealand, and email addresses, and everything is still okay. I'm showing that all you people on Facebook and YouTube, don't freak out why I'm showing it there. That's because my phone is there and I'm showing it to those people following it on Instagram. So anyway, so yeah, so get in touch with us. We are fully operational. All 42 offers are working. We had a fantastic weekend. We are back here again, and some of my colleagues were lamenting the fact that they have to clean their own homes now. But oh well, life has a strange way of coming back. Right. So Michael Gunawardene is hey team. Can you confirm if Michael is one of our clients? Michael Gunawardene from because he has asked me some question. In the meantime, I will go on to talk uh, about Nair Dushyant, who says, "Can you please give some information on University of Canterbury, August 2020 intake and process of availing education loan course is postgraduate diploma in business." Okay, Dushyant, what can I say about University of Canterbury? One of the finest universities anywhere on earth. It's incredibly good, very good rating, great, fantastic campus. I was there very recently, by the way. I think about a month ago, I was at the University of Canterbury. I spent about half a day. I met some very senior people there from the different departments. Fabulous university. I've had some great respect for this university, and it's got such a lovely pedigree as an institution, and some of the finest minds in New Zealand and globally have studied at the University of Canterbury. One of the most well-known names that came out of University of Canterbury, of course, it was not from the business school, but from more from science, but was Sir Ernest Rutherford, who is a Kiwi, who was a Kiwi, and he was a scientist who was the person who split the atom, and because of which I think the world has got nuclear power today. So that's the sort of pedigree that University of Canterbury has, and I rate it very highly. I've been there a few times myself. Fantastic campus, great location, lovely support to international students. And if you're planning to go for a postgraduate diploma in business, you will also end up with a 3-year post-study work visa. Christchurch is a bustling city. It is actually our second largest city after Auckland, and there is good opportunities in Christchurch. I think you will do well. You will not go wrong with that choice of going to University of Canterbury, coming to New Zealand as a country, and choosing to work with AJV. I think this is possibly one of the best combinations you could potentially look at. And August is when you're looking at it, by which time I'm quite certain, I'm positive that the borders will be open again, and you should be able to come in here. So good choice all round, Dushant, and I hope to see you here in New Zealand. So, all right, cool. Team, just confirm to me if Michael, you can confirm to me if you are one of our students, because my team has not confirmed Michael. Yeah, so please, in the meantime, Iboan, and yeah, either you confirm Michael or one of my team members. If you confirm, I'll come back to your question and answer it. Looks like my team has decided not to confirm it to me, so you can confirm to Michael. Okay. Umesh Rule, okay, from Pune. Is it possible to meet you in Mumbai? Umesh, you can't meet me, but you can meet one of my wonderful team members. We have a lot of our team members working out of Mumbai at the moment. And as soon as this whole COVID thing goes away, we are also going to set up an office in Mumbai so that our clients can come and meet us. But till we set up, in fact, we paid for a nice office in Delhi, and we were on the verge of setting up our office, doing the interiors and all that sort of thing. And then, of course, this whole COVID thing came out of somewhere and fell into our laps. So at the moment, that office is, still not functional, and we are quite keen to set up one in Mumbai as well, maybe more than one. But so if I'm in Mumbai, Umesh, last year I was in Mumbai almost 6 or 7 times, by the way. I was coming every other month to Mumbai because our team was forming, and we were doing a lot of training and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if I'm there, I'm happy to meet you. But otherwise, you can meet one of my fantastic colleagues, and I promise you that whether you talk to me or you talk to one of my colleagues, it's all the same. And sometimes I strongly think that. Mm, that they probably might know a bit more than I do because I'm kind of the spokesperson and the face of the company. But my team are the people who are every day getting into the policy, getting into the nuts and bolts. For instance, somebody if one of you suddenly asks me what is the entry criteria for, let's say, a Masters of Science in the University of Lincoln, I wouldn't know. I will have to go and research, but I'm sure there'll be most of my team would have it at the back of their, on the tip of their tongues, and they'll be able to sort of talk about it. So happy to meet you, Umesh, if I'm there. But if I'm not there, please go ahead and meet for one of our wonderful colleagues, or even better, because now everybody is kind of working from home, and you also probably can't, uh, travel. Why did they call this number? It's 1-800. This one there. So you call 1-800-103-6525. So I'll bring that closer. Yeah, that's the number, Umesh. Call that number and speak to one of them because that number automatically keeps getting allocated. And yeah, we will get in touch with you and initiate the process. It might be a while before I come to back to India. But and I was actually about to be there, but unfortunately, with all this ban on travel, I'm sort of not able to get on a plane. So yeah. Crickholic Rishikesh. Hi Arun, I'm an AJV client. Hey Crickholic Rishikesh. I'm a Crickholic as well, by the way. So that makes two of us, Rishikesh. Yeah. I've received offer letter from Unitec for July 2020 intake for Master of Professional Accounting. Very good course. And I have my medicals and PCC pending. Rest all documents are submitted. Well done. What would you suggest? Should I go further with the process or should I apply for another intake? Rishikesh, I've started this session with this message, and I say it one more time. Do not worry. Continue with it just the way like it is business as usual. Do not drop your plans. And as soon as immigration to New Zealand is also still working and doing a fair bit of processing. So continue to launch your application because bear in mind if you're holding back and waiting to see how this whole thing plays out, your by the time you put in your application, there might be a whole bunch of applications because you've been prepping yourself very well, Rishikesh. Just go for it. I mean, hey, look, you're a cricketer, just like I am, and we don't stop net practice just because of any other reason. We still wake up in the morning, go there and do our warm up and do our net practice, and whether there is a tour or not in the next few months, we are always prepped and ready. That's the way you ought to be as well. All right. So I would strongly recommend don't stop it. Just keep going ahead with it. Okay. Okay, Srinivas Rao Baride. Hi, sir. I have received a conditional offer letter from EIT, August intake. Of course, though, through AJV. Fantastic. Well done, Srinivas. Um, uh, and PG diploma in applied management. My IELTS was pending. And what time should I submit my IELTS? As soon as you can, Srinivas. You don't have to wait. You can, whenever you get your IELTS results. I don't know if IELTS is still functional in India, and still being able to give out the results. But the moment you get it submitted, because then your conditional offer will become unconditional. And once your offer becomes unconditional, then of course you can go to the bank if you're taking an education loan, that is, and continue with the rest of the process. All right. So don't wait. The moment you get your IELTS results, go ahead and give it to your AJV advisor, and we will submit it to EIT and get your unconditional offer. All right. Cool. To do butterflies. Good day, Arun. I applied visa this month for July intake. Do I need to take deferred offer letter? This is my third offer letter due to some reasons. Butterflies, it looks like you have butterflies in your stomach because it's the third time you're going to apply for it. So now you haven't mentioned butterflies, whether you're one of a client or not. Um, so Right. I'm checking with my team if they know who Butterflies is, but do I need to take deferred offer letter? We don't know Butterflies. We don't know. Frankly, I mean, I don't even know who you are because your name doesn't tell us who you are. Your Facebook name doesn't tell us. So why don't you share your number and we'll give you a call and we will examine to see why you've been deferring so many times, and we will then, give you our most sincere advice. All right. Cool. Dushyant, I have already answered. Rishikesh says, should I pay the fees for July intake or wait for some more weeks? Good question, Rishikesh, because I think the way it's going to work is, so you got to pay the fees anyway only after you get your approval in principle, which means if Immigration New Zealand has processed your application and they give you an approval in principle, which is the last but one step before you get your e-visa. And if they say, hey, look, here's your AIP, Rishikesh, go ahead and pay your fees, that means they have received an indication from the government, from their own government, saying that we are going to open the borders and you will be able to let people into the country. So go ahead and continue to process things just as they normally would. So I would say if you get your AIP or approval in principle from INZ, just go ahead and pay your fees. And for whatever reason they stop you and you want to get your fees back and get it refunded and all that, don't worry, you're an AJV student. We will step in and ensure that you get all your money back. All right. So just go ahead like it is business as usual. All right, Rishikesh. Thank you. Butterfly says I'm not AJV. Okay, butterflies. But my process started. I came to know about AJV later, but I'm sure for future all my needs will contact AJV. Hopefully, we'll reach there by July 2020. I'll tell you what, butterflies. Okay, that's very funny to keep saying butterflies, but give us your number anyway. Talk to us. We will not, sit on your head and try to force you to change your decision about who you're coming to New Zealand, who you're coming to New Zealand. Just give us your number. We'll like to have a chat with you because we give information and advice to hundreds of people. Not all of them will come to New Zealand through us. We understand that. We are, cognizant of that fact. So, which is absolutely fine. But at the least, we should be able to talk to you and give you good honest information, which I can't right now because till I see the reasons why you have kind of deferred it so many times. What was the course? Sometimes the course itself might be an issue. We would also like to examine your background and give you an honest opinion about your chances of actually getting the visa and all those kinds of things. So please go ahead and share your number. If you don't want to share your number directly on the chat here, you can inbox it to me and I will give it to one of my colleagues. Or if you want, you can just call us on this toll-free number. Give us a call on this toll-free number. That's again back to my Instagram people. So yeah, give us a call on this toll-free number and speak to one of our advisors. And so in our team, the way it works is we have advisors who are extremely competent, and then all advisors report to a team leader. And All our team leaders are ex-immigration officers of New Zealand. These are people who worked with Immigration New Zealand, and now they have decided to work with AJV. So they come with a lot of experience. And out of these three team leaders, two of them are also licensed immigration advisors, just like myself. And they all report to another manager who is also an ex-immigration manager of New Zealand, and worked with Immigration New Zealand for more than 2 decades. And then, of course, there's myself as a licensed immigration advisor. And then there's our country manager in New Zealand, Mary, who is also a licensed immigration advisor. Then we have like our, a person in Malaysia, our manager in Malaysia called Shireen. She is also a licensed immigration advisor. So we have a lot of knowledge and, a processing power, if I can use the term, in our team, and we'll be able to give you the right solutions, Butterfly. So don't hesitate to talk to us. It's going to be a life-changing decision. Bear in mind, a lot of these agents put you into the wrong course because they will earn more commission, and for that you will end up with a very messed up future. So it is very important, before you listen to anybody, you get good information from an honest New Zealand based company like AJV. Because let's say you come through XYZ company and they are not present in New Zealand. After you land here, if things are not working out, who will you approach? Whereas if you are coming to New Zealand through HAV, you can walk into our office or you can give us a call and say, hey, look, I have this challenge after I've reached New Zealand. How can you address this for me? That's the kind of, I think, the support that international students require, which unfortunately a lot of companies and agencies don't do. So if you guys are smart and you have the brains, you obviously have the beauty with a name called Butterflies, but exhibit the brains as well, and have a chat with us, and we will see how we can help you out. All right. Cool. Ranjit says, hi, I'm looking for a job. Please help me to find it. Yeah, Ranjit, share your number and we'll come back to you and tell you how you are, how we can help you with that aspiration. Okay. Prachi Kohli. Hey, Prachi, how are you doing? How was life in Auckland in the lockdown period? I hope you're doing all right. Prachi is one of our wonderful AJV students, and she's written, hi, Arun, sir. Stop calling me sir, Prachi. My name is Arun, okay? Yeah, I just taking an opportunity to thank you and team for not just helping me to take my path to NZ, but also for always being a support even after I came here. I highly recommend AJV. Oh, that's so nice of you, Prachi. Okay, as soon as this whole thing is gone, this not meeting other people, I'll come to Auckland. I'll buy a nice dinner for that beautiful compliment. But hey, look, jokes apart, I think it is wonderful that our own clients acknowledge what we are doing. And like I said, we are just simple, honest people who wake up and and just want to help people. In return, we expect honesty. And off late, unfortunately, we've had a couple of students who came to New Zealand and then decided to withdraw and go back, but they didn't inform us, and that's kind of very. I think the only word we can use is it's very rude not to be in touch with the people who help you to come into the country, and and when you're taking such a big decision to, after those months and months of work that you did and we did and INZ did and the institution did, you come and within 3 4 days you take your money and run back. That's it's a very rude way of dealing with people, and which is why it is wonderful to get feedback from people like Prachi, because Prachi has also been here for a long time. She also went through her challenges like any other international student, and today she is in a much better place. And I remember recently she also got a fantastic job, and our onshore team is helping her to get the further visas into place and all that. So yeah, that's the way to work, that dual communication, and which is why it's wonderful to hear back from you, Prachi. And like I said, promise you that soon after this whole thing is lifted up, we guys will catch up again. All right, cool. Girish Radhakrishnan Nair asked me a question. Says, which college is good for nursing cap course in Auckland? There are a lot of colleges, Girish, not just in Auckland, but in many other places. Please share your number and we will get in touch with you and give you all the details and all the options for you. Moving on, Krikholik Rishikesh says, thank you so much. Absolutely, my friend. We will not, we shall not Bow down to bouncers. People like you and me will hit them for a six. Okay, cool. And that's what this COVID is. Suddenly a bloody bouncer out of the blue from nowhere. Okay. Ranjit Kumar wants to know opportunities for civil engineers in New Zealand. Fantastic. Very, very good. So it's a good opportunity and a good time for you to uh, consider coming into New Zealand and study, this particular course. Yeah. But you haven't shared your number, Ranjit. So please share your number. And we will not only give you a lot of options, but we will also connect you to some of our students who have completed civil engineering in New Zealand. It's in our long-term skill shortage. By the way, my Instagram decided to shut down. So it's a very good time to consider coming to New Zealand and studying this course. But you'll need to share your number, Ranjit, so that we can give you all the right advice. Okay. Last question. Setu's Den. Okay. He's obviously based in New Zealand. From his number, I can say that Setu is based in New Zealand. It says, "Hi Arun, I applied for an essential skills work visa last Saturday for a job paying 80,000 per annum in Franklin. Do you think I should have applied for a resident visa?" Absolutely. I don't know who advised you to go for a essential skills work visa when you obviously are, getting the you were well placed to go for a resident visa directly, unless and until there were some issues that your visa was expiring and you quickly needed to get an essential skills work visa into place. And so, but straight away the answer, Setu, is absolutely you should have gone for a resident visa. I hope it was not from a team AJV. I would strongly recommend get on the phone tomorrow, anytime after 9 in the morning, and call 0800 which, by the way, translates to 0800 my NZPR. If you look at the keyboard, it will 696977 corresponds to my NZPR. We are very clever people, so we come out with all these nice little things. So yeah, that's what. So Setu, it looks like you should have gone for. You should have gone for your resident visa. But again, like I said, circumstances could be varying. So call us on 0800 and speak to Mary. She's our licensed immigration advisor and country manager here in New Zealand. And, she will assess and check to see why you did that, and if there is still a chance, perhaps we could also quickly launch your resident visa and maybe pull. I will see. I mean, let me not try to assess your entire case on this Facebook Live. Okay. And anyway, my team has told me to ring the bell because I've reached the end of my session. But let me see if I can. Ragel Rajan says, "Is it now possible to apply for NZ student visa?" It is always possible at any time. Rajan, NZ student visa, you can do it even if you're 65 years old. Don't worry about that. You get in touch with us and we will assess to see. But we have no upper limit on how old students can be. So no issues about that. Ranjit has a follow-up question. Ranjit, you will need to share your number and then we'll talk to you. George Jacob, hey George Jacob, always good to say hello to another Jacob. I finished studying graduate diploma in health service management from EIT Napier. Good for you. I don't know what your question is. Shabir saying, "I want to do a master's in public health or research. What will you suggest? And I want to have residency in future." Hey, Shabir, if you come and do a master's by research or in public health, which is good because especially with all these epidemics and pandemics going around the world, I think we require more and more professionals to join our health services. So good time to do that. You have not shared your number. If you can share your number, inbox me and I'll connect you to one of my team members. And yeah, have a discussion and see what we can suggest to you. Doing a master's by research is actually a good idea because you also get full-time work rights and stuff like that. Talking about which, just to quickly mention that all students currently in New Zealand who are already working in some supermarkets like Countdown, Pack and Save, just three companies, by the way. If you're working for any company affiliated with that, INZ has changed the rules where you can work full time. So because we require essential workers right now and during this COVID crisis. So that's another good thing that the government has done. So yeah, overall, I think the government is doing everything possible to get us out of this as quickly as they can. And I'm very confident, super confident that we will get out of this quickly. And which is why do not drop your plans of coming to New Zealand. Continue to speak to AJB, and we will continue to speak to you every Monday. I speak to you, and then Mary will, and then Tulika will, and Navya will. And one of these days, we also plan to get Sharon and put her in front of a camera as well, and she will start speaking to you as well. So George Jacob asks, what should I do to get a job and residence in New Zealand, George? I wouldn't know, George. I think you've got to keep applying. I don't know if you're one of our AJB students. If you're an AJB student, talk to Anjana, and we can connect you to quite a lot of our students who have done course in health, have already found jobs, and they are working in different places. And if you're one of our students, we would absolutely gladly connect you to some of these ex-students of ours. If you're not an AJB student, all the best, keep applying, and hopefully you will find a job. All right. But if you are an AGV student, not only will we connect you to some of our students who are already working in good places, but we will also tell you what kind of job you need to get. We will verify your employment offer to make sure that it is right and legally all correct. And then we will tell you after that what visa you can apply for. And then we'll help you to apply for that visa, and then we'll help you to apply for, if you're married and with a spouse and kids and all this stuff, we'll help you with all those. And eventually, if you are reaching that threshold where you can apply for a resident visa, we will do that as well. So those are all the advantages you would normally have if you had come to New Zealand through AJB. If you have not come through to New Zealand through AJB, all I can tell you is all the very best, and I'm sure somehow, somewhere, you'll be able to find your future. All right, guys. So that was my Monday's live session. Started off on a bit of a funny note because my Facebook decided it was not going to work. It just was a funny screen. It was something new that I had not seen, and yeah. But anyway, managed to get through it. Despite my cold, I managed to hold in there and hang in there and not cough my lungs out. So which would have probably been a bit scary in the circumstances we all are living in right now. But anyhow, lovely to start the week again with this live session. And as always, thanks for watching my live sessions. Please share it with your family and friends. And AJV will continue to keep the flag flying high and keep all your dreams alive of all your people who want to come to New Zealand. And one last time, this thing will blow away. Do not drop your plans. Continue to speak to AJV. We will make it happen. We are one of the most well equipped companies to make your dreams come true with or without bloody COVID-19. All right. Okay, guys. Good night. And I shall see you again next week. Till then, please follow the live sessions of my colleagues who will come throughout this week. But otherwise, thank you so much for being part of this community. And please share my video with your family and friends. Take care. Bye bye.